I'm in way over my head tonight. This hydrogen is really fun to talk about at our agency, but my job was really just to work with the board on the high-level policy of why hydrogen and what our expectations are with hydrogen. So I'm going to take you through a couple of slides just really quickly to give you some background. The board has basically 3 goals that they established at a workshop last year, so that we're not trying to do everything, we're really focusing in. So they wanted to double ridership to 7 million rides a year within 5 years, and I'll show you briefly how we're going to pull that off. 30% or about 32 of our buses have an average age of 20 years. And in the public transit world, you want to replace a bus after 12 or you start running some pretty high O&M costs. So they asked that staff just do anything and everything we could to either buy battery electric buses or hydrogen buses, and they did a master plan and felt that their primary path for zero emissions would be the hydrogen. And then we have property throughout the county, and so they gave us a goal of getting 175 affordable housing units built by the end of the decade. I'm going to be really quick with this because I just wanted to show you what is right around the corner for Metro. This is Metro's service today, and the only thing you need to know about this is you got blue lines and a lot of them. And blue for public transit is mediocre transit. It's hour frequencies, it's half an hour frequencies, and the dark blue is the half an hour, so most of the system runs on an hour frequency. So if you remember nothing other than the things I talk about with the hydrogen, if you remember nothing else, just remember that public transit works when it's fast, it's frequent, and it's reliable. And so what you want to see for a good system that's a great transportation option for the public is a lot of red on a map, because in the transit world, red stands for 15-minute frequency. And this is where the board's going right around the corner. And so basically, this is how you get to 7 million rides. Actually, this here will implement kind of the first phase in December, and then the rest of the phases we're hoping to implement in April of next year. But this actually, when it's said and done, is probably about 8.5 million rides a year, and about probably 3 or 4 million more than pre-COVID. So it's pretty exciting. There'll be a lot of usage, and obviously the partnership with UCSC is important for all the red that you see there in Capitola and Live Oak and Santa Cruz. So I'll move on from where we're going, but this just to give you an idea, to go from the previous slide to this slide is an additional 75 drivers. So it kind of gives you an idea of the manpower that we're acquiring and training and getting ready for this. And it requires an additional more or less 20 buses from the fleet of 94 that we have today. So obviously I'm speaking to the crowd that knows a heck of a lot more than I do about hydrogen, but we do have 9 battery electric buses, which are buses that obviously you plug in or you have on-route charging, and you have a lot of batteries, and it's a heavy bus. And then the hydrogen fuel cell buses, basically you're pumping in the hydrogen into the tanks. It's going through the fuel cell, creating the electricity that then drives the electric motor. So not figuring I have to spend much time on that slide. But these are the reasons in Metro's planning documents for why they prefer hydrogen as the main fleet for Santa Cruz Metro. Just really quickly, you can refuel a hydrogen bus in about 8 minutes, and we charge them all night long. The ones we have now, just based on the fact that on-route charging is really expensive. There's right-of-way acquisition. There's all kinds of fun things to worry about. The range of a hydrogen bus is about 375 miles, and to compare that with the battery electric bus, it currently has a range of about 175 to 200. And so the range is improving with the battery electric bus, but it's nowhere near the range of a hydrogen bus, which is really comparable to a diesel in its range. The weight of the vehicle, it's 11,000 pounds lighter, a hydrogen bus compared to a battery electric bus. And if you're a public works guy or a Caltrans guy, that means a lot for pavement management. And so that was a welcome for the public work guys. The capital costs, we basically, with Jamie Avels and others in our master plan, priced out a battery electric fleet versus a hydrogen fleet, and also a mixed fleet. And by far the most expensive was the battery electric bus fleet, which just has tons of infrastructure that you put in. Basically, for every bus you're adding into the fleet, you're having to figure out how to charge that bus, whereas with the hydrogen bus, you get the hydrogen station, you put it in one time, and you've got your fleet ready to get fueled. In our particular case, we are buying 57 hydrogen buses. You might have read in the media, it was a grant between the federal government, the state government, and the VW settlement money. So those three, just about at an $88 million purchase, they were just pretty much a third, and a third as far as how that played out. Very little local money, Measure D, went into the purchase, which was fantastic. Our hydrogen station, which is under design now, will cost $9 million, and that will fuel about 85 vehicles a day. And so Arches was mentioned earlier in the evening. We're a member of that consortium. There's about 1,000 buses in that consortium, so we're really hoping to get not only the green hydrogen flowing to Santa Cruz Metro, but to get the price tag down. Right now in the public transit space, agencies are paying about $9 per gallon equivalent for the hydrogen, and the goal is to get it down to 5 or lower. And so we've been quoted from a couple of companies at $6 a gallon equivalent, but they're really looking for a long-term contract, like 10 years or more. And so we're hoping to work with Arches to be able, in the end, to have a better deal there. And they'll deliver, basically, if we're successful, if it's successful with getting the federal money, it's hopeful to be green hydrogen, and then the game plan is to deliver it to Santa Cruz Metro with a hydrogen rig. And so trying to keep it green from the well to the wheel, so to speak. And then finally, the big one for the board was resiliency. If you have a fleet of 94 buses and the power goes out for any extended period of time, you're done. Whereas with the hydrogen, we'll carry about a week's worth of hydrogen in our tanks for the fleet. And so if the power goes out, you can literally power the station with a generator and keep going during the week and be of service to the community. So those are the main reasons why we went with the hydrogen. They're very comparable in cost. If you just looked at a battery electric bus, it's about $1.2 million. And if you look at a hydrogen bus, it's about $1.3 million. And like I say, the federal government and the state government just have a lot of incentives for transit agencies to pick up hydrogen and further that industry. I think that was it. And yeah, I'd be happy to take any questions as you want to.
Michael, thank you very much for this presentation. I have a very practical question. So, based on your experience, you used lithium-based buses and hydrogen. So what about, can we compare total cost of ownership of these two buses?
You know what, total cost of ownership, it just depends on the price, right, for the electricity, and then the price for the hydrogen.
Based on your experience, existing experience, I mean.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I've never run a hydrogen bus, so all I know is what AC Transit, we have worked really closely with AC Transit in their program, and it was, as mentioned earlier, they've got about 20 years of experience with the hydrogen and the battery electric bus. And they find that, yeah, I think the thing that, I think it's cheaper, right, to run a battery electric bus, just the pure operational cost compared to what the industry, what we're paying for the hydrogen. But the factors in the previous slide, as well as a better availability of the buses on a day in, day out basis from the hydrogen bus, is what caused us to just budget more money for the hydrogen up front, knowing that the trend is that it's coming down.
Thank you.
But AC Transit does have a couple of study guides, so to speak, of their experience with hydrogen buses and battery electric buses, and it's on their website if you want to know more about their experience.
Thank you.